So I just made weed water liquid fertilizer two different ways. The first way is what you might call the traditional fermented plant matter fertilizer. Second way is one that I came up with that I called the cold brewed method. And nevertheless, after I tested, that's cicada interference. Okay, cicada, they buzz and mess up the sound. Anyways, where was I? Either of those two ways, neither one of them gave a measurable amount of nitrate down to the 10 parts per million or less level. You know, it may have still had other nutrients, but nitrogen, no. And of course, I need nitrogen. I don't know about you guys, but I need nitrogen in any kind of fertilizer if it's going to be very helpful. That's like the main thing I'm missing. And so I decided to try one more time, because I know in the not too distant past that I was able to do the cold brewed method consisting of weeds and garden trimmings, and the nitrogen levels were off the charts, 500 parts per million or greater. So I think this method is worth trying at least one more time if I can find some nice lush green weeds to use. I have no idea how many gourds are hiding in here. Some of the vines have grown to be over 50 feet long. They all start on this side. I made a row of them right down here. And they've been getting watered from automatic sprinkler system non-stop through the drought, so they never stopped growing. And like I said, I have no idea how many gourds are in here, but if this is any indication, that's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's just in one little spot. Move all these gourd vines out of the way. It's perhaps worth noting that in this trial, the weeds are obviously finely chopped, in contrast to the previous trials in which the weeds were very coarsely chopped. These finely chopped weeds could be more beneficial in this process because it could release their nutrients more easily due to higher surface area of contact with the water. Okay, that ought to do it. You can actually see the sprinkler now and its hose where it's attached. Let's see if this is going to be enough to fill up the feed bag. Well, I think there's definitely room for some more. So I have this interesting weed right here that's got these funny little paper-like fruit coverings around the fruits. And these ones are actually hollow right now, it seems like, but they're green, so maybe they're going to grow more on the inside. Anyhow, this little weed pops up in this area of my aquaponics garden, and I call it a Chinese lantern because of the little paper covered fruits, at least paper like. You see whenever they get ripe they turn yellowish tan color. This one has a nice berry inside of it. And the berries are actually edible. It tastes like mainly tomato, but some grape qualities to it. So interesting, like a grape tomato, but maybe it's a we call them a tomatillo, which I've never had that I remember. So I'm just guessing. But they're very interesting weeds because they're edible. I'm thinking about trying to harvest a bunch of them to feed to my chickens. Maybe I'll sacrifice a few of them for the weed water. Okay, I've had it in the freezer here for a couple of days now. Frozen, mostly grass, but some weeds. Now drop it in the water. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there for a few hours this time and check it later on today to see if it has already released a measurable amount of nutrients, of course particularly the nitrate. Okay, so it's been about 7 hours since I dunked this frozen bag of weeds into the water, so let's give it the test strip routine. In we go. 1, 2, that should be enough. And let's see, there's the nitrate. Nitrite 0 in this batch of weed water so far. Total hardness between 25 and 50. Same with carbonate, parts per million is 80. And that's about it. So there you have it. It seems that common weeds don't have much useful nitrogen immediately available in them. But I do have at least three more useful ways of making liquid fertilizer. And these 3 ways are actually quite rapid, even more rapid than this freezing and thawing in the weed water. You'll definitely want to stay tuned to my next video in this series on how to make Instamatic compost tea. And I just did this and I had nitrate levels that were off the scales. So as good as or higher than, Miracle Grow or something like that.